Hello everyone, this is Tim, and this is going to be a quick video response to Red Dice Diaries, who posed an interesting question that was very challenging for me to answer. I was watching all the video responses from various channels, trying to think of, what on earth am I going to pick to answer these, these 3 points or 3 questions. And, it's like, what 3 things do you look for when you're, going to buy an RPG or RPG product? What 3 things? So I'm going to take it as like an RPG system, and the 3 things that I look for: randomness in character creation, or at least the option to have randomness in character creation. Because some systems are more of a toolkit and have like 3 or 4 different ways to do the same thing. So yeah, that's one of the things there. And I guess that's actually going to lead into my second question. But so some games that do this, like old school Dungeons and Dragons with the rules straight down the line. I enjoy that. I've been told by a lot of people that I would really enjoy like Warhammer 1st or 2nd edition, and I have yet to actually play those. I own the 2nd edition PDF. I need to print that thing out to actually get a chance to read it, I think. But yeah, randomness, and I like to be surprised. Maybe it's because I've been playing for so long. I just like to be challenged in different ways. So randomness kind of surprises me with the character. I look at those stats, or however the system does it, and then I try to come up with a character around that or because of that. So I enjoy that process. Really not into point buy and other systems like that. But I like variety, so doing those things from time to time isn't a bad thing. I think that's probably another reason why these questions are hard for me to answer, because I like different things. I like to play in different ways. So we'll move on to the second one. All right, the second point, or the second reason why I pick up an RPG product is a system, is because it's flexible. I like when there's lots of optional rules. I like toolkit settings. I like toolkit systems that have lots of optional rules, or if you don't like this, or if you like more lethality, or if you like this, or if you prefer your system to have this sort of detail in it, whatever it is, I just like to have I like to sort of pick and choose. I like to make up my own house rules, so I think toolkit systems lend themselves to that. There's more of an assumption that here's a bunch of rules, pick and choose the ones you like. Generic systems are like this. So usually my generic system of choice is basic role playing, but there's other ones out there that are just as good. An example of a flexible system that had lots of optional rules is High Adventure Role Playing. Tim Duggar was the author of it, and there was always additional optional systems being produced by Iron Crown Enterprises, or ICE, where you could, you didn't like the combat system in the core rulebook, you could use this alternative combat system. And then there was like 3 other ones, some that had more depth with armor or damage reduction, so I really enjoyed that approach. And for the last point, I look for RPG systems that either push for in-character role-playing, or they do not have social mechanics. So for some, that might be like a big glaring discrepancy or error, or there's a big hole in the system. But I enjoy being in that spot. I enjoy playing games that don't cover that aspect of things. Some people might say that combat focuses, or RPGs focus a lot on combat, like Dungeons and Dragons and things, and not enough on social interaction. But you don't need mechanics for everything. In fact, sometimes mechanics can, be trying to do more of, X. But X is fine just by itself without all those fiddly little rules and additional things to remember, the minutia. So yeah, when I'm looking for a system, I don't want social mechanics usually. The exception might be a Song of Ice and Fire, that for me anyway. And I like when the stats are written up in a way to allow for player ability to role play, to make decisions. A Song of Ice and Lamentations of the Flame Princess is a system that does that. The way they describe the stats, there's some wiggle room there for player ability to fit into the picture. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Randomness, character creation, flexibility of the system itself with optional rules, and finally an emphasis on in-character role-playing and getting away from like rolling dice for social situations. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the response, Mr. Red Dice Diaries himself. I'll talk to you later.